What we got?
So, obviously, with Lynn gone, what's the plan right now for who's going to call plays and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff?
our entire defense will put together the game plan like we normally do, and I think it's the same thing with us on offense. I call it plays on game day, but our coaching staff has a huge input on that. It's just not one person coming in and saying, "Hey, we're doing this." So they'll all game plan together, and then a Kike Malloy will call the plays on game day for us.
And have you, obviously, you've got bowl game prep, but have you started that search yet, or is that something
No,
for
we're
after
going to
bowl
do
game?
everything after the bowl game. This is a unique bowl game because of when it is. This is still, we're in the middle of recruiting.
Right.
This is, we were out last week. We should be on the road now, but we're back because of the bowl game. So Boise has the same issues, and I think like Texas Tech and Cal, because they're playing in the Shreveport game. So it's just the nature of it. The option is don't go to the bowl game, and that's not what anybody wants. So when they tell us when the game is, then we got to work a schedule out. So anything we'll do with the quarterback position or the defense coordinator will be after the bowl game, and we have time. It's not a decision that we want to rush, and no, we'll be rushing. So.
And then with QBs and tight ends.
QBs, I'm coaching the tight ends, and Ken Niumatalolo is coaching the tight ends. So we are real fortunate that we have him. I mean, Ken's been a head coach at the Division I level for a really, really long time. So, and then because of we have two openings, Clancy Pendergast will now be an on-field coach, and Greg Burns will now be an on-field coach. So, in our bullpen, so to speak, to have someone like Ken, Clancy's been a defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl. Burnsy's been in this league for a really long time as a position coach. So to have those three guys, they all were out on the road for us. And now to have those three guys being able to step in has been huge for us. So.
It's been a busy week for Latu. Obviously, you were part of that with I think in Houston for that ceremony.
Yeah, and then yesterday
for the impact,
for the lot,
impact.
we were in here game planning for Boise, and then I got down there for the banquet. But it was awesome.
You mentioned you were going to talk to him about a bowl game decision.
Yeah, Latu will not play in the bowl game. He's been away. He's got a lot on his plate. He's got finals coming up. He had 3 finals. He was studying yesterday. I got to the lot awards right about when they were just about to start, and I had talked to him, and he was trying to manage. He had a final today. Then he has 2 more coming up. So Latu is the only guy we have, but in that situation, but a lot in terms of in preparation for the NFL and really trying to finish up school for Latu. So Latu is not going to play in the bowl game.
As far as the guys who have entered the portal, as far as any of them sticking around,
we offered that to everybody, but
right.
Right now we're not. None of them will be here for bowl practice. So.
Do you anticipate anybody else putting their name in the portal based on your name?
I think we're at 8 or 9, which is we have 120 guys, which is somewhere between 7 and 8%. So it's happened everywhere. I mean, we have coaches. I think sometimes, and I hope fans will be like, well, I can't believe this guy left before the last game. Well, coaches have left before the last game. It's the nature of the schedule that we set up. So it's very hard for coaches and administrators to say I can't believe this is happening. Kids aren't playing in bowl games. Coaches aren't coaching in bowl games. Well, we're the ones who put the rules in place. So, and if you're a student athlete and you're trying to find an opportunity to go somewhere else, I understand that there are coaches that have taken opportunities to go somewhere else, and all of them, I'm not maligning them, and I'm sure they would all want to be with their teams to finish off, but based upon the schedule that we set, it just doesn't happen that way. So we're in the solution business, and the solution business for us is, I think from a coaching staff wise, we've done a really good job for that, and then we haven't really, like I said, 7 or 8%. We'll make do. So that's what it is, and our job as coaches is to help those guys. One of the things that was really cool for me was we got home late after our recruiting dinner. We had practice on Friday, then recruiting dinner, recruits in, and I caught the tail end of the Montana game. And Hayden Harris and Eric Osteen are playing for Montana, and they had a huge win in overtime over Furman. And I know Bobby Houck really well, but it's cool because most of the guys are going places where they're looking for more playing time. Hayden graduated, Eric graduated. Most of the kids are leaving that are graduates, and they're just looking for an opportunity. So our job is to help them wherever they want to go, and that's what it's all about, whether they're here for one day or they're here for 5 years. We want what's best for them, and if they feel like that's the best decision for them, then the question we ask all the time is, how can we help? So.
Jeff Ferris is moving on, taking a head coaching role. What did you think about his time here, and what kind of growth?
Ferris is awesome, and I was so excited for him and Natalie, and I don't know if everybody knows, they just had 2 twins in the summertime, and he's an amazing coach. It's an opportunity for him to get his first head coaching job, at the FCS level at Austin Peay. He was recruiting with me. I was with him for 2 or 3 days last week recruiting, and then he went down to see them, I think, on Thursday. And they were impressed with him, which anybody would be. And it's close to home. So he's from Tennessee, and his wife is from Tennessee. So, there's a little bit of getting home for him. And his chance to be a head coach, and I think Ferris is going to be a great head coach. So we were fired up and excited for him. I know all the tight ends because he came back and met with them before he left, and then I followed up after he met with them, and they were all just genuinely happy for him. So, it talks a little bit about the relationship that he has with his players. Everybody's just excited for Jeff and Adam.
With the recruiting schedule being what it is, with the resigning period, how do you kind of manage the conversations with the recruits? With you don't have the full coaching staff,
Yeah.
You're also doing
Yeah. It's one of those deals where I don't think anybody cares. The old 90% of the people don't care that it's a problem, and 10% are probably happy that you have it. But the alternative is that you don't play in a bowl game, and that's never a thought. These players deserve to play in another bowl game, and this is our sole focus and attention. There's time post-practice. We may have some coaches, and especially because of where we are, you can see some kids in the afternoon and home visits, but we got to juggle it. That's our job. We'll figure all that stuff out. So. But it probably not a lot of sleep this week, but that's a good reason not to have sleep.
Chip, obviously you guys juggling, you're busy.
Yeah.
A couple weeks. How's that past couple of weeks been for you?
They've been awesome.
Yeah.
I think the one thing, probably for all of us, I think every night you go home tired and you wake up every morning hungry, but we get to be with this every day. And I know you guys have had an opportunity to be around these players, and they're awesome. I've never been more proud. When you listen to Latu give his speech at the Lombardi Award, and he's an awesome kid, and for him to go through what he's gone through and to win an award like that in a black tie dinner and know how nervous he was, like, Coach, I'm nervous. And Andrew was there. Andrew will tell you they make him speak twice. He didn't have to come up with one talk. He gave an unbelievable talk to begin with, and then he won it. Then he had to talk again, and he was amazing. And then last night, they did a great job at the Lot Awards. He got interviewed by Joel Klatt in a question and answer period, and then you just come away with like, wow, what a special young man. And the fact that we had a chance to help him along in his journey is what it's all about. So the last couple of weeks have been they're always awesome. Any day we get a chance to play with these guys is awesome.
So the noise around the program, around you, that outweighs it?
Yeah, I don't understand the noise, to be honest with you. So we win on Saturday. We will win second time in the last 35 years that they've won 8 or more games. So I think that's what these players are trying to, over a 3 years period. So that's what these players are trying to get accomplished. Accomplish something that's only been accomplished once since 1988. So we're fired up to play another game against a really good Boise team.
And you said you were handling quarterbacks this week. And how's everything looking in there with Ethan and
good
health? And
he's been out here the last couple of days, and obviously we've got 3 big days of training here, Monday through Wednesday, and then we always make our assessment when we get to Friday. But he's been great. Ethan's a tough sucker. So he's a really good football player. So he's been good.
How tough was it losing Kamari, given not only his production but also how young he is, and what does the safety position look like right now?
Yeah, anytime you lose any of those kids that went to the portal, I think they're all integral members of your team. You know what I mean? And you would hope guys could finish out, but again, as we talked about earlier, the rules are the rules. So, and we don't harbor any ill feelings to anybody in that situation. So, but it's no different than a player got injured. So it's the next guy up. So, Alex is here, Kenny Churchwell is here, Jordan Anderson is here. So. We're going to fly around, and I don't know if there's a team in the country that will have their entire team intact when they play in the bowl game. Everybody's going through something, some a lot more than others. Again, our numbers aren't that high, but there's 1 or 2 kids that would have played for us on Saturday that aren't here, so we'll just make those adjustments.
As far as young guys, guys who true freshmen may get an extended look. Is that?
Yeah, there's no. Let me clarify. There are no extended looks. Like, we're trying to beat Boise. So, if anybody in this football program can help us beat Boise, then they'll be on the field. But this game is not a tryout to see what this kid could be like in the future. I know, and that's maybe a little bit of a misconception. We've had some other practices where ones get reps, twos get reps, three gets reps. We've been coaching everybody because you've been taking advantage of it. We did that last weekend. We did that the weekend before. But you know, our sole focus is playing against a really good team that just won the Mountain West Championship. And it's not about tryouts or anything like that. It's about trying to get the best 11 guys on the field as we can to defend it and try to score on a really, really good football team.
How hard is it to scout Boise right now, given their own kind of departures and all that?
I think it's the same for everybody. So, you know, you got the one thing is they have all of our games. We have all of their games, and you just go. They're doing the same thing, looking at us. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing the same thing, looking at them. So we don't look at anything as hard. We just look at this is what we got to do. So let's go.
What did you think of Spencer getting hired at Boise? Literally an hour or so before that, during the press conference, you thought they should hire him, and then the news came in. What did you think of it?
I did not get, or maybe he's waiting to see me in person for an agent fee. I did talk to him the other day, and I was just really up for him. I think he's a heck of a football coach, and I think Boise made a great decision. So, and that's a storied football program that's had some amazing head coaches there. So the fact that he can continue in that legacy is a credit to him. So, and I think what he did, you know, when he took over, I think he was the first coach to ever win a conference championship as an interim coach. So that says a little bit about him. So,
You got a chance to consider potential needs in the transfer portal?
yeah, that's always been done. So we've had transfer kids in on visits already, and we'll continue to do that. So you can't wait. You know, the transfer portal is kind of like speed dating. If you think you're going to take 4 or 5 days sometimes for some kids to make a decision, like, hey, he already committed to another school before you even get a chance. So that's where most of our coaches last week, we were recruiting high school kids as we normally do, but we're still seeing transfer kids as we go, and that'll be the same mode this week. So it's full go, you know, in both phases, both the high school and the transfer portal.
What would be the better way to do that scheduling wise, as far as bowls and recruiting, if you were the role?
That takes way too long because I understand school starts in January, so that's why people are now trying to figure out where they're going, and some of the bowls actually occur after school starts. So, you know, you'd have to reconfigure the bowl schedule a little bit to figure that part of it out. But I would think there are smart enough people, if they can get together in one room and talk about it, they could. But those are the challenges that I think our sport faces. I think our sport faces challenges in realignment. Our sport faces challenges in the transfer portal. Our sport faces challenges in the NIL space. And, I think it would be good if there was a commissioner of college football that could, and everybody, to get everybody on the same page. Because right now, it's just done at the conference level. So, how is this conference compared to that conference? But now, everybody just went to different conferences. So, we have no one to blame but ourselves. So I'll make sure we all understand that we're not, you know, but I think there are enough smart people. If you take, and I've said it before, you take Greg Sankey and Chris Peterson and David Shaw and Gene Smith. I would take those 4 guys and lock them in a room and tell them, you guys figure it out. When you come out, we're all going to follow you. Because I think those 4 guys they love the game, and I think they're forward thinkers. And there's 2 coaches and 2 administrators. You guys go hash it out. And then when you come out, we'll get a puff of white smoke. We'll fix this whole thing. But take Greg Sankey, Gene Smith, that's my vote. And I'd throw David Shaw and Chris Peterson in there. And I'd throw David Cutcliffe in there too because he's brilliant. So go from there and figure it out.
Cool.
All right, guys.